suspect!
Coming to get you, Bobber.
Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about how every Halloween sequel ruins the previous movie's ending. Now, this is talking about all the Michael Myers ones. Season of the Witch is not included because it's not part of the Michael Myers universe. However, after inspecting and watching all the Halloween films, I've came to realise that, like I said, every Halloween sequel ruins the previous movie's ending. Whether the endings were bad or good, it still ruins it. Now, there's only one film in the whole franchise featuring Michael Myers that the ending isn't ruined, is ironically Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Now, it's not a great film, but it doesn't ruin the ending of the previous movie. Yes, you could say, well, he got shot in the face, but we don't know whereabouts specifically Michael got shot in the face, so we can rule that out. So apart from Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, let's discuss how they ruined all the endings. If we start with Halloween 2 from 1981, obviously we've got the amazing ending for Halloween where he just disappeared. And if that was the only movie in the franchise, it wouldn't be called the franchise, but if that was the only movie, then it would have been a perfect ending. However, because there was that Halloween 2 in 1981 and he did survive the fall, we saw him again. So it completely ruins what we saw at the end of Halloween 1. Now, watching Halloween 1 as a movie is perfect, it's fine, it doesn't ruin the movie. But if you want to make a sequel to that, then it kind of defeats the purpose of him being the shape, him being the boogeyman. Therefore, just by giving us that Halloween 2, it just ruins the end of the original Halloween. If we fast forward to 1988 with Halloween 4, such a great film, but even though it is a great film, it sacrifices the end of Halloween 2 from 1981, because the end of Halloween 2 was again supposed to be the end of Michael Myers. Michael is seen burning alive, falling down, and you just see him burning away. That would be, again, the perfect ending, not just to Michael Myers, but the perfect ending to Laurie Strode, because she survived that whole night over 2 movies and was taken away in an ambulance, and that's it. Again, as much as Halloween 2 ruined the end of Halloween 1, if you just had those 2 movies though, it would have been the perfect duo, but obviously money talks. So just by giving us that Halloween 4, then you're just ruining everything that happened in that finale of Halloween 2. We then move over to Halloween 5, which is one of the biggest issues that we have with endings being ruined, because you've now got Jamie, who's in a mental home and she's a mute. What happened at the end of Halloween 4? Again, it was a great ending to what you would call that little mini trilogy with Halloween 1, 2 and 4, with the evil coming full circle. And you've got Jamie at the end of Halloween 4 holding that knife, killing her mother, because yes, she did kill her foster mother at the end of the movie. Whether you saw that or not, it was intended that she killed her stepmother in the same fashion that Michael killed his sister in 1963. What a great ending. But then they decided to do a Halloween 5. And the only way they couldn't ruin the end of Halloween 4 is if they continued on with that story, with her actually following through with it. But they didn't. They completely changed it. She's now in a mental home, and her stepmother, her foster mother, survived. So it kind of defeats the purpose of that evil coming full circle, because she didn't actually do anything. She just attempted to kill her foster mother. And then obviously she's a mute through half the movie as well, so it's a complete waste of that character. If we go into Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, I'm going to talk about the casting choices as well, because that also ruins the previous film. Danielle Harris is replaced for the role of Jamie, even though Danielle Harris tried to be Jamie again, but they decided against it. The film did come out 6 years later as well, so she was at that point where she could have played a really good Jamie Lloyd, but they decided against that. So that completely ruins the effects of Halloween 5, even though Halloween 5 wasn't a good movie anyway. But you still wanted that continuation of seeing that familiar face as a character. But just at the start of the movie, just by killing off Jamie Lloyd as well, completely defeats the purpose of that build-up of the characters in Halloween 4 and Halloween 5, because some people consider that as the Thorn trilogy, the beginning being Halloween 4 and the end of that being The Curse of Michael Myers, but they just completely take all that away with that main character. We then move on to Halloween H2O. Now, as much as I love Halloween H2O, it ruins 2 timelines in the franchise, which is bizarre because it ruins parts 4, 5 and 6 because it dismisses parts 4, 5 and 6 in this timeline. It then cuts back to Halloween 2 because it's an official sequel to Halloween 2. But yeah, first of all, it takes away what happens in 4, 5 and 6. That is a good thing in terms of having a good story, but at the same time it also ruins what happened at the end of Halloween 6, or Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers. But then you move on to Halloween 2, it then ruins Halloween 2, just the same way Halloween 4 ruined Halloween 2 with Michael surviving. But not only that, in H2O, I know it's just a malfunction, but you can see his eyes in Halloween H2O. And I like to see his eyes, but his eyes shouldn't really be there. They should really be at least scarred or cut or whatever, because of what happened to him in the first and the second movie. He has no burns on him either. I know that some burns can heal over time after 20 years, but with what happened in Halloween 2, he should at least have some scars on him, and they decide against that in Halloween H2O. I don't know if that was maybe budget restraints, or they just completely forgot about what happened. They did mention in Halloween H2O that, or John mentioned, that he said to his mum, "You watched them burn." So even saying it in the movie means that the filmmakers know that he should have burns on him, but they decided, nah, we'll just leave the burns out. If we move on to Halloween Resurrection, this is possibly the worst one you could have, the biggest ruin in the whole entire franchise. That is because Halloween H2O had such a fantastic ending as well, you know, chopping his head off, he's finally dead, there's no way Michael Myers is coming back from that. Well, again, money talks, so they decided that wasn't Michael Myers. That was a twist that maybe it would be good in a different movie. Oh, it wasn't him, it was somebody else you killed. That's crazy. But for a Halloween film, because the ending of H2O was so perfect, I didn't want that body switch. I wanted them to do a different timeline. I always want a Halloween film, and I always want a Michael Myers film, but that was the end of that storyline. Close that chapter over and give us a new one. But they decided, yes, we will give you a new chapter with this Dangertainment, but we're also going to close off the Laurie Strode timeline. I don't know why they would do that there, but they did it anyway, and it was a complete shambles. Next, we move on to David Gordon Green's Halloween from 2018, and for all the same reasons that Halloween 2 from 1981 was made, there was no need to make it because the end of Halloween 1 was so perfect. Yes, I wanted it because I always want a Halloween film, but they could have just done a different timeline. But they decided, let's do a sequel to Halloween 1, omitting everything that happened from 2 right up to Resurrection, which is a good idea if you have to go with that timeline and if you have to bring back Laurie Strode with Jamie Lee Curtis. But they didn't have to do that, they just decided to do that. So it ruins the end of Halloween 1 from 1978 with what they've done in Halloween 2018. If we move on to Halloween Kills, it's all about the money again, because the end of Halloween 2018 was a decent ending. Not an ending I would have chosen, but it is an end after all, because Michael was stuck down there. This was a plan for 40 years for Laurie to trap him down there, and she finally done it with the help of her daughter and her granddaughter. So if you want to close off the Laurie Strode storyline and the Michael Myers storyline, that would have been a really good ending, because they watched them burn again at the end of this, and then they just went away. But again, money talks. It was the biggest, highest grossing slasher movie of all time with $255 million. So they had to do a sequel to it. They left it open for a sequel as well, just like they did with Halloween 1978, but with the intention of saying this is the final movie as well. So they had two options, but they chose the wrong option. The right option for me, because I love Halloween, but the wrong option story-wise. They shouldn't have done it. But then Halloween Kills came. Michael survived because he hid in that little locker that's probably about that thick. You know, I don't know how you can fit in there, and even if you do, you probably still die. But he survived. Therefore, it kind of ruins the effect of Halloween 2018. And lastly, we move on to Halloween Ends. This movie was set 3 and 4 years later, because obviously we get it set in 2019 as well, when Corey accidentally killed Jeremy. But even though this is still a continuation of the David Gordon Green trilogy, they still managed to ruin it, because at the end of Halloween Kills, with all the brutal kills that Michael went through at the end of that film, he then kills Karen at the very, very end. And then, depending on what version you watch, the extended version or not, Laurie's talking to him on the phone, like, I'm coming after you, Michael. And even if you don't see that, you just see Michael killing Karen and then standing at his window. But then when it moves on to Halloween Ends, they don't focus on that window anymore. They focused on it in the first, maybe not 2018, but they focused on it in Halloween Kills to the point where I thought we were going to see more of that. But they dismissed that completely in Halloween Ends, as well as dismissing what happened that night after Karen died. I mean, we didn't see the discovery of her body, we didn't see the effects of the town after everyone died, we didn't see the effects of how, after Tommy died, after Lonnie died, Cameron, even bloody Brackett, all these were supposed to be main characters, Nurse Marion, but we didn't see the effects of that because it was set so many years later, but still nobody really spoke about it. And I know that Halloween Ends, they try to move away from that because they want to heal, but we as an audience haven't healed yet. We want to know what happened. It's not like we want to know all the ins and outs of Michael Myers, because we shouldn't know that. We want to know all the ins and outs of the characters that you tried to get us to love again, and it just didn't work. So therefore, Halloween Ends ruined the end of Halloween Kills. So that's just my thoughts, guys, of how each movie ruined the ending of the previous film. Again, you might not agree with me, because there is some good aspects of why they've done what they've done, but mostly negative aspects, because you lose that effect of how they built up the end of each of the movies. Because a lot of the Halloween films, and I will give them their due, a lot of the Halloween films' endings are really good in their own right. With Jamie standing at the top of those stairs, to Michael getting his head chopped off in H2O. All very iconic endings. They're all just ruined because of money, because the studios want to give us sequels to these films. I hope now, though, that they realise that give us a great ending and that's it. But if you want to make more money on Michael Myers, give us a new timeline. We will accept that, because we will go and see the film, but at least you're not sacrificing the great ending that you gave us the movie before that. But anyway, that's just my thoughts, guys. Leave your comments down below. Let me know if you think the same as me, or if you think there's something else in the sequels that maybe ruined the end of the previous film. But as always, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.